Hi, this is Chris Young, and welcome to Good News on Tap for the 29th Sunday of Ordinary Time. Comedian David Letterman used to have a feature on his show called Brush with Greatness. He would go into the audience, and an audience member would tell some anecdote about a famous person they had bumped into. If the story they told was deemed worthy enough, they would win a prize like a free dinner or something like that. It's always exciting to bump into a celebrity, but it's even better if you know one personally. I have to plead guilty that I brag from time to time that my cousin's son-in-law is Jim Sorgi, the backup quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. And I bragged even more after the Colts won the Super Bowl, because not only did I know a member of the Colts, I now knew someone who had a Super Bowl ring. That was a big deal. In this week's Gospel, the apostles James and John are trying to take advantage of their relationship with Jesus. They're asking him favors, which at first he seems willing to entertain, until he hears what it is they're asking. They want to be seated at his right and his left when he comes into his glory. Well, I'd like to have seats on the 50-yard line at Lucas Oil Stadium, or maybe access to one of those fancy corporate suites. But just because I know one of the Colts doesn't mean I'll have the right to go around making those kinds of demands. And neither did James and John. Once again, it seems Jesus has to rebuke yet another apostle for being big-headed and egotistical. Usually it's Peter who's the one who's trying to tell Jesus what he can and cannot do. This time it's James and John. Jesus has to remind them that being close to him is not going to be an easy task. Jesus is going to suffer greatly, and if they're going to follow him, they will have to endure suffering as well. Then he teaches them what leadership in the kingdom is really about. It's not about lording your authority over others or taking advantage of your high station. It's really about being a humble servant to the people. In the second reading, we're reminded that Jesus is our high priest, and he's one of us. He's endured the suffering that we suffer. He knows what it's like to be human because he himself is fully human. Because Jesus has endured suffering for us and has conquered sin, then we're worthy to approach God and ask for his mercy. So while it's true that we have friends in high places in the form of Jesus the Savior, and while we can reap the benefits of being close to Jesus, those benefits are not in the form of prestige, honor, or high office for ourselves. What we get is the sure knowledge that despite our suffering and our human weakness, we can achieve a place in heaven which has been prepared for us. Neither James nor John nor us could be guaranteed those prime seats in heaven at the right and left-hand side of Jesus. But we can be confident that once we get to heaven, there are no bad seats. And that is Good News on Tap for the 29th Sunday of Ordinary Time.